Hello there, we have a new episode of this speedrun. It's gonna be tougher, I'm sure. Last time I lost my first game in this speedrun trying to get to 2300. I'm at 2250, and so I expect quite hard games. Okay, we get our first opponent. Barbarossa 97, he is close to 2200. Not making a move yet. Okay, e4, I'm gonna go for my Time Man of Sicilia. I've been playing e4, e5 a lot for this speedrun. Now I want to play my openings a little bit, and let's see if I land some better positions than last time. I had a lot of trouble. So okay, my opponent is taking his time for the first few moves. G3, okay, that's interesting. I really want to play d5. I don't know about these lines with e takes, and maybe some bishop b5 check, but he has played g3 already, so maybe bishop b5 is not what he's intending. Let's see. d5, he takes, I will take back with the pawn. If d3, there is an option to exchange queens after the exchange of pawns, but he didn't go for it. He took, and now white normally plays d4. Yeah, he does. Okay, nice c6, bishop g2. C takes d, knight takes d, bishop c5. Don't really remember how this goes, but I'm very likely to play knight f6 here, but I will just play this. So it might be a slight inaccuracy. I think knight f6, bishop g2 was the way. We'll see. If bishop g2, maybe I take. And if knight takes, there is this bishop c5 at some point, though I'm not sure if it's here. For the time being, I will just play... No, not this, because if castles... I'm trying to remember this. It's not easy. It's kind of tricky, because there's a quick rook e1 check, and I have some trouble just blocking the e5 and castling in time. I will take on d4 and see how it goes from here. Most likely he's gonna take, though he can also castle. Okay, he took. Now I'm playing knight f6. If he castles, well, maybe I can throw in bishop g4 now, because if rook e1 check, I can still cover with bishop e7, and it just feels like I will be on time to castle. Though bishop e7 looks very normal too. I will probably just stick to a normal move, because I don't want to get into something that's just too sharp without knowing the line. And yeah, I have an IQP, not the greatest thing, but at the same time, I have quite free piece play, so I should have enough compensation for it, I believe. Bishop g4 is kind of annoying. I mean, he really doesn't want to play f3 and block his bishop and weaken the g1 a7 diagonal, so he will probably just play queen d3, which seems like the most normal move in the world. Then I will probably castle. And I have to think of him, of how he will put pressure on d5. He has already two pieces here. These setups with g3 and bishop g2 tend to be quite dangerous for the IQP, for the isolated pawn on d5, but at the same time, it does weaken the kings a little bit, so I might get counterplay just because of that. We'll see if queen d3, I'm just thinking of playing queen d7, so there are no knight jumps with knight f5, for example, which I'm finding kind of annoying. I don't want to trade my bishops, but I think I have time to castle. If queen d7, queen d3, sorry, queen d7, rook e1 castles, looks like I'm in time. I will just play this, and of course, if he attacks my pawn, which he can do, okay, that's a very slow move. I thought he would move the knight away or something, attacking this pawn, but I think I always have this rook d8. Okay, now I castle. Finally, I feel like I'm off the woods a little bit. But now, of course, this is my problem, and white's problem is his relatively open king. Maybe I should have played bishop h3 right away, though I was kind of scared not to be castled, honestly. So this has to be principle. I mean, I can't figure out if it's the best move or not, but it really looks reasonable. So okay, he's really indirectly attacking my pawn, but I think I can play h6 because he has a loose knight on d4. So if bishop takes f6, and before white can take my pawn on d5, I have an attack on d4. So he will have to deal with that. he could play something like knight to b3, then I guess I can capture. I don't know if it's entirely necessary, or I can push the pawn to d4, but seems like I'm saving my pawn in any case. So let's see if that works out. I don't think he can go here. That looks like too much. I'm just bagging the piece. So okay, I guess he will take. He can also drop back to f4 or e3, and it's fairly reasonable. Maybe it's better on f4 so he doesn't get hit with 95. Well, it's like he heard me or something. Okay, rook a c8 maybe. I mean, I have enough defenders here. Bishop h3 is definitely interesting. I mean, the only thing I'm mildly worried about is my f5 square, but at the same time I'm threatening knight g4, so has to watch out for that, I guess. I might go for it. Bishop h3. If he doesn't take, I will, of course. And he won't. He won't just allow me to get my queen on h3. So he will play rook fe1 most likely. Then maybe bishop c5 because of the slightly weakened f2 pawn. That is an idea, I guess. Though I have to be careful about not dropping this pawn with some knight b3. And if I play bishop b6, he might capture my pawn. That's my only concern with playing bishop c5 right now. And that I might be leaving d5 a little bit weak. Though I think I can get away with it if it's changed here, because, well, suddenly my pawn on d5 will be better protected. It's still kind of difficult though. I mean, what I have to notice here is that I'm leaving f5 for his knight if I exchange these two bishops. It can be dangerous, but at the same time, his light squares are very weak. Oh no, this is really complex. Rook fe1, yeah, it was coming, I guess. So I'm seriously thinking of rook a c8. Though my bishop on e7 is also in some trouble because there's a lot of tension here. So I'm thinking rook a c8, bishop takes h3, queen takes h3, and if he takes on c6, b takes c6, I wonder if he can just take my bishop. I don't know, because there is this knight g4 which seems pretty annoying with that threat of taking on h2. And I don't know, there's maybe queen f3 when he defends h1 and f2. Doesn't seem to be enough. So okay, now I might think of bishop c5 then. The knight b3 is what's annoying me. I don't see any sacrifices on f2 working because I don't have other checks on that diagonal after, so I will have to play bishop b6 maybe. And then knight takes d5 is... it's a problem. Yeah, it's a problem because I can't just take the bishop. He would take my knight with check and the queen is left hanging, for example. Okay, facing problems already, more or less. I mean, kind of, it's not a big deal. Maybe I can just take. But yeah, he's putting some serious questions already. Thing that annoys me here is a move like queen f5. I really don't want to exchange queens, and it feels like he's more or less forcing me. Though, yeah, because I'm thinking of knight takes, queen takes, knight takes, and then this is hanging, but maybe c2 was hanging. It's very difficult to assess. Okay, now maybe I can take, and after queen takes bishop c5, that seems fairly reasonable to me. And then I might even get to push d4. So yeah, I'll go for it. I'll go for it before it's too late. I only have 5 minutes. Okay, bishop c5. I got into a lot of time trouble last time. I want to stay clear of that at least. Queen a4 would be principle, I guess. I mean, he wants to take this into an endgame. I probably should refuse and play something like queen f5. I don't know if f5 is the square. There's rook e5, maybe queen g4 or something. I think I can still refuse the exchange more or less reliably. I have to be careful with this pawn hanging on d5 too. So yeah, I need an answer against this really. Probably not a big deal though, because I also have some nasty pressure on the c file. For example, here I can just drop back to b6, and if he would take my pawn on d5, I would exchange everything, and then I have rook takes with the rook on the 7th. Now, the most annoying thing here for me is this move. I really don't like the prospect of getting hit with bishop e5 because that really is a problem for my pawn. So I will just push and get it down with that target. I mean, the e5 was very weak and hard to defend. So, okay, I'll just push. I think these two weaknesses cancel each other out to a certain extent, which is good. So now I'm thinking maybe queen c6. I make him lose the tempo by moving the king or by playing f3, which is slightly weakening. There he goes. Knight e5. I'm liking knight e5 here. Knight e5 or bishop b6, both are quite valid. Bishop b6, knight takes, queen takes. I like my pressure on the pawn on c2, though I don't like bishop e5. It's fine, I guess. I go back, I attack this pawn, and it should be fine. Knight e5 is, well, kind of more enterprising because I hit the bishop. So I will definitely go for that one. And he can't really play bishop e5, I guess, because of knight e3 check with all sorts of forks. So yeah, no, when you push the pawn on d4, it seems like you got enough compensation. At least it feels like these two cancel each other out, and I have some initiative because I have the more advanced pawn. For example, I'm thinking of knight e3. I don't know if I'm gonna pull the trigger right now, or if I should just kick that knight out of there, more or less forcing to go into f2, then knight e3. Bishop takes e3, pawn takes e3, hitting the knight, which has to go to h3. Maybe not a big deal, but I'm going for that. I'm going for that. Yeah, he can't go to d2 because the fork just wins an exchange. The bishop can't take with the knight on d2. So he will have to play this move. I don't see any other. And then I'm getting a very nice pass unprotected pawn on the e3 square that is certainly looking very dangerous. It really looks like it's a problem for him. Against this, there's also f4 to consider, though it might be a bit too greedy. f4. The idea is just to jump into e3, and after takes, I will take with the f pawn, opening the f file. Sorry, 2 in the process. That's a tough call. I really want to play f4. So I might be giving him a blockade on the light squares. He has e4 for the knight, so I don't have to go for that, honestly. I think I can just make the knight on f2 miserable with this. Pawn takes, knight h3. He's going for f4, though, and that's what's mildly annoying. Oh, but okay, I didn't see rook f d8. This is a problem with calculations that are just too shallow. I mean, this just wins now. This just wins. No, it doesn't. He has the check. Oh, he's fortunate to have that check. But, well, it's there. And after the check, I go to h7. He changes everything on d8. I'm kind of threatening rook d2. I'm only worried about counterplay with queen f7. But it does look sketchy. I mean, even if he... I don't want him to take on d5, on f5. Well, that's not that easy, honestly, and I'm a little bit low on time. It's such a shame that he has this. That is a big problem for me. But, well, maybe I should just play rook d8 regardless. And go with it. Queen b3 check. Now, where do I put the king? On f8 looks horrible. Knight f4, and he's attacking these two squares. I guess I have to play this anyway. Not exactly what I intended. That's odd, though. I guess rook d2 has to be. And now there is queen. There is queen to f7. My intention is to go queen g6 and trade the queens. I don't know if that gives me enough play, but it's true that I have... well, an invasion on the 7th rank already under curse. So what is he gonna do? He can't really take here, I would guess. I'm so close to making a queen. And rook d1 is awfully passive. I'll just have queen take c2. c3 feels passive too. I guess I can play something like queen d7. Okay, never mind. We'll go for... Well, I can take on c2. Can I take on c2? After all, it defends the pawn. I don't think I'm getting checkmated or anything, so yeah, I'll go for it. And rook takes, pawn takes. If rook e7 looks scary, but well, I make a queen with check, with the discard check, and that should be close to checkmate. Now that's a bit annoying, I have to admit. And it defends here too. Okay, that's nice. I didn't see that. Maybe I will have to play rook c6 and cover everything. For now, he has knight h5, though I have the bishop coming to d4. Oof. No, I don't. I have rook takes e2, which is even better. He's not going to checkmate me. At the very least, I will have some rook g6. So yeah, I mean, it looks dangerous, but at the same time, he can't really move anything here. If he moves the knight, he just drops the rook on e2. So yeah, that's challenging for him too, I guess. If anything, well, I can't take either. He takes here. It's like a stalemate. No, I can play rook f6, and I guess kicking the queen out of there, it has to be the first step. I would like to threaten that knight. Also, maybe bishop c7, because if this knight falls, everything collapses on e2. So, well, at least I'm not seeing a clear solution for him. And knight h5 drops the rook. Rook takes d2, pawn takes, and just threatening to push. Okay, that doesn't seem to be a big problem. I have bishop c7, trying to force matters. He can never take here anyway because of the pin. So now the intention is clear. I will just take on f4, take on e2, and win the piece. And if rook takes, there's pawn takes. Rook e7 though. Can he allow me to? No, it can't be right. Pawn takes, rook e7. I make a queen. He goes to h3. I have two queens, but I have to be careful with the checkmate on g7. I don't think there really is one. I might even play bishop e5. But I don't know, it does look challenging. I will play it anyway. I mean, if I lose this way, come on, really? No, I don't. I mean, I have this, and I have queen takes h2 check afterwards. I mean, I have queen f1 check, king h4, queen takes h2, and that's checkmate. Yeah, I get there before he does. Oof. This was challenging. I mean, I thought at the very least, I would have this move. And there are no checks. This is no problem. If rook takes, well, there are no checkmates anymore, and I have the two queens, but this is quicker. And, well, we end up checkmating. Okay, tough first game as predicted. It was very possible that it will go this way. Okay, there's a rematch. He asked for a rematch. I think that's fair. That's only fair. Okay, we're gonna play against the peer. I'm not liking this in the very least. I will play this setup that probably many of you play. Just go f3, h4, queen d2, bishop h6, and try to checkmate. Very straightforward stuff. He plays b5 very quickly, which is probably principled. I don't know if it's best, but it is principled, I have to say. Now, well, he really knows what he's doing because he's delaying this on purpose. So after bishop h6, he doesn't have to lose a tempo by taking. I'm going to delay bishop h6 too, though I don't know for how much time I can do that. So I'm thinking knight e2, probably, and just slowly bringing the pieces. Okay, he really knows his openings here. I'm not so sure of what I'm doing though. Okay, if I castle them before, it's annoying because I don't have d1 for the knight. I probably don't want to face that. I will play knight g3. I don't know about this plan, but h4, h5 is going to be strengthened at least, and I get e2 for the other knight. I mean, theoretically speaking, I'm sure that he's in the right here, but well, gotta try something. h4, he's gonna play h5. This is a good maneuver though that he played. If b4, I can't go to e2 any longer because of knight c4. I would have to go here. Knight c4, he will make me trade this bishop, though I don't know if he wants to do that right now. I'll play h4 regardless and continue with my plan. If h5, well, at least I have g5 for my bishop, which is nice. I might just, it's change here, it's change queens, play bishop g5. That bishop is kind of hard to deal with. I'm liking that. I don't want to call it an endgame because it looks more like a queenless middle game, you could say. I mean, the rest of the pieces are still there, so it's not close to an endgame, really. Now he has to defend that. Okay, I could castle queens at any point with a check against the king, but he's just gonna go king c7 and he's fine. Now, how do I get some play? Maybe I play a4 to gain some squares on the queen side. Just thanks to the fact that I didn't castle yet, and I kind of don't have to castle either, because, well, without queens I'm not getting checkmate, I'm pretty sure of that. So okay, a6, yeah, rather solid. If I take, he can take back, and the rook is defended by the knight. That's good stuff. That's well played. a4 maybe? I don't know if he's gonna go knight c4 and allow me to double those pawns. Probably not, it looks ugly. But he can go back to d7, and I don't know if I want to go that far. Maybe it's a bit too risky. There's also the idea of pulling back now, attacking the knight. Rook b8 is probably gonna be played, and then a takes b, a takes b. I have the open file, though I don't know if I can do much with that. This is not the easiest decision ever. I might play bishop e2. I don't know where I want to castle, though. I mean, king f2 is a move I would like to play, except I would get checked like this. No, not easy. Not easy, really. I'm probably taking on b5. I'm probably taking on b5. If he takes back with the a-pawn, I will exchange. And he will have the knight on a8, which doesn't look fantastic. So I have to say, I might be in the wrong here, because at least the knight gets good perspectives coming this way. So I don't know if this is the best idea for me. I don't know what to do with my knights, though. It feels like they don't have good squares at all. So, okay, I'll just go bishop e2 and take it from there. I should probably not have done this. I mean, now knight e6 is really annoying. He's really going to put some pressure there. I have to do something with my knight and start maneuvering myself. My square for this knight is clearly d3. I should have started sooner, probably. My other knight is also bad. It feels like his is easier to recycle somehow to d7 and c5. Okay, that's good. That's good play by him. I will try to take my own opportunity to get the knight back into life. Knight d4 was slightly annoying. I mean, hitting here. Well, the knight is at least alive now. He has the better pieces, the better pawn configuration too, because he has his central pawn a dark square. My pawns are more or less fixed on light squares, and I have the light square bishop. So he has a slightly better minor piece. It might not be the end of the world. And he goes in, okay. I don't mind this exchange. I really don't mind this exchange. He doesn't want to go for it either. He's probably right. I mean, this is not my best piece. Like knight, well, at least now I'm hitting this. If knight d7, I might have some annoying ideas connected to bishop f1 and bishop h3. Whoa, he's just sacrificing the e5 pawn? Or is this... Or is there something I'm missing? I don't think so. The knight on e3 even defends this. So if knight d4, I'm covered, it feels like. Yeah, I have to take that. And yeah, suddenly this is also under pressure, like rook f8. I would just play king f2 and bring the rook to the d or the a file, depending on the on what happens next. But, well, we gain the pawn at least. Can I take this one too, or is it too greedy? Then I can go out to g5, so I don't mind. Keep taking them if I can. And it looks like the knight goes out. And then it's 2 extra pawns. Yeah, he got a little bit dizzy there. He should have defended f7, and I guess he was probably just fine. I mean, he should have defended e5 and he was fine. And he just lost the central pawn, and well, a second one is too much, I guess. But I still have to play well here. King f2. bring the rook to the center and try to, well, escaping is not the word for it. I guess the knight is very much alive going through these seats or through g5 or through whichever square I want. Knight e5 attacks the g6 pawn, maybe. What to do with this knight though? I mean, it's slightly restricted by all of his pawns basically. Okay, he's trying to trap the knight. I don't think he has the pieces for that. Like, I can play knight e6 at the very least and take the bishop. And I'm eager to because I'm up 2 pawns. So if some pieces leave the board, I'm happy. Even though the knight looks awesome and everything, I still prefer to exchange some pieces. I can still make... that was a bit sketchy. He can take here. I mean, this didn't go as planned. It's just that it's working out apparently. And if knight c5 to defend the knight, I have b4 and the knights. These two knights that defend each other look solid, but it's just a matter of attacking one of them, and both are in trouble. So here he's dropping a piece. Honestly, it wasn't my intention. It's just that I didn't see knight e4. I just played a bit too fast. Okay, but it's working. Yeah, he resigns. Okay, good game. Let's go try another game. Let's see who we get next. I think I'm... Am I looking for a game? Yes, I am. Okay. Got a different opponent. E4, E5 this time. I won't play the Taimanov in all games. I'll switch to E5. And then maybe some other openings. I mean, I've been playing E4, E5 and C5 almost exclusively. Okay. So we get a Scotch game. We'll play this variation with Bishop C5. It's the only one I have some idea of how it's played. I mean, I don't play E5, so I can't claim I know the theory here, but I know an idea or two, I guess. I can play knight g7 because if he takes, I can take on e3, attacking f2, so I can still play knight g7. So what does he play now? Bishop c4, okay, he plays well. Stopping d5 at all times, which is my main freeing idea. My intention was to play this b6 idea, which defends the bishop on c5, so I don't have any tactical problems with it hanging in the future. At the same time, I want to develop the bishop to b7, castle on the queen side, and with the rook on d8 supporting the push, I will push d5 and open up the center. If black gets to play d5 in good conditions here, he's normally in good shape. And the reason is, what white has going for him is that he has some extra space in the center. That's what you get in the Scotch game after d4, e takes d. Now, what does black get? A lot of piece activity, quick development, and maybe the opportunity of breaking on d5. If white plays accurately, it won't be so easy, of course, but if I get my way, I'm sure I will be more than fine. So for the time being, I think this is pretty normal. Knight d2, the problem is that it just leaves d4 hanging and it interferes with the queen. So there's f4 to consider here. There's also b4. Those two moves are very thematic. b4 is kind of a sacrifice. I think I can just take. He takes with the bishop. I'm happy I take the bishop, and that's definitely not the idea for white. But if b4, bishop takes c, d4, c takes d, I may take here, but he gets a very strong pawn center, so I don't know how that goes. Maybe it makes sense for me if I manage to push d5 anyway, but we'll see. We'll see what white comes up with. Maybe the most thematic move here is f4. There's also some queen d2s to have this defended, but my opponent says he doesn't care at all, and he's going after my c7 pawn. Okay, this is a good time to know the theory, you see. I'm thinking of bishop takes c3 anyway. I would definitely love to know this, but well, first thing, if he takes, attacking my queen, I have queen e5 and I have c7 defended, and I don't see a way in which he can drive my queen away, except f7 is falling. Ouch. No, well, at least I know I can't play this. That's good enough. Can I castle queenside? That feels a bit weird, since white can take and kind of destroy my queenside pawns a little bit. Doesn't mean it's completely unplayable though. It's just that I probably prefer to stay clear of it. I don't want to play rook c8 and defend the pawn because I want to castle queenside. I mean, that's definitely not the idea. So yeah, that quick knight b5 kind of took me by surprise, honestly. Queenside castle feels like the principal move. At the same time, it could go horribly wrong if you don't know what you're doing, and I certainly don't. Bishop d6 is maybe playable. It's kind of strange. He plays f4 and threatens e5. Also, taking on d6 should yield an advantage. So I will castle and hope for the best. I don't know if I can get away with this, but I was taken by surprise by that knight b5, honestly. If bishop takes b5, b takes c, what I saw is queen a4. I still have king b8. Doesn't seem to be the end of the world. And now, well, if I can get some discord attacks, of course, a7 will be hanging, but the queen is also able to join the defense pretty easily. I don't know. It doesn't look. I mean, if it's not great for black, at the very least I know it's not. It's not easy either. It's not like white has a clear refutation to this. I hope. F4 is at least feels like the principal way to go, but at the same time, if white pushes his pawns too much, my pieces might be getting a lot of squares. So I'm not sure how he should proceed either. I know that knight e5 is something I will want to play, attacking the bishop, attacking the pawn on e4, and giving me a lot of activity. I don't even know if he can take after king b8. All his pieces are left hanging, and the pawn a7 is maybe not such a big deal. So if knight d2, for example, I might even go this way. If knight takes a7 check, queen b6. Looks interesting enough. The knight doesn't seem to be easily going out of there. I mean, I know he can defend it with queen a4 after this. But feels a little bit weird. After queen b6, the knight can go back to b5. Maybe he can play knight takes a7 after all, though it does feel like he's hanging by a thread there. A6 is also definitely a possibility, and after knight, a3, knight e5. Now, well, that's the responsible play, I guess. I don't want to push a6. It looks ugly, and now it's just attacked by the bishop. It's just that it's kind of appealing because the knight has to go to a very bad square, which is always good for us, to send our opponent's pieces to awful squares. So knight e5. I think this exchange is something I would like to get. But there's also this idea of pushing d5 regardless. I know I'm completely obliterating my pawn structure. I mean, it looks horrible. It does. But I so badly want to play it anyways. Point being that my pieces look amazing. I don't know if amazing enough to go for something like that. But if he takes, I will take with the knight. And I'm threatening knight f4. It looks too appealing not to do it. I know it might it might contradict anything. We've talked about weak pawns maybe, but well, chess is a game of compensation. I mean, sometimes you have to give something to your opponent to get compensation through other imbalances. And here I'm playing for the attack and for piece activity mostly. And he doesn't complain. I mean, he really didn't liked it, and I can't blame him. I mean, it was way too much with these two knights centralized, the bishop, the queen coming anyway. Maybe I'm playing this anyway because knight f4 looks very annoying at all instances. d4 is also an idea. Pawn takes, pawn takes. What I don't like is that I open the c5 and he can start making threats there on c7. The other idea is just taking. As weird as it looks, if knight takes, queen g6, it has some questions to answer there on g2. has to play f3 most likely. I don't know if he would love that. I mean, I have knight d5 with the idea of knight d3, knight f4. I think I will take. I will insist on playing anti-positional chess. Because I'm basically disintegrating my pawn structure, but I'm getting great pieces in return. I think this has to be good for me. Knight takes, queen g6. Oh, one thing I didn't see is that the queen is actually defended by the knight. That's it's kind of disappointing because on queen g6 now I have to count on this move too. Not a fan, because if queen takes, knight takes, rook d2, the knight defends the knight on e2, the bishop on e2. That's extremely annoying. I didn't see that. I didn't even notice that the knight was defending. Okay, maybe I need another plan now. That's not how I expected this to go. But okay, we're still in it, I guess. Queen g6, knight g3. Maybe I will play f5 and see what happens, but no. f5 is not a move I would love to play there. What a shame. It looked great. I mean, queen... I guess it's still fine. Knight g3. Even in that case, I think my pieces compensate for the broken pawn structure. I know it's not the same. Not the same anymore. Well, he bought it. I think he should have played knight g3. I'm not seeing a refutation, but I see I have very active pieces and all, but I think that was a good response. Now, well, I'm threatening this, I'm threatening knight f4. This, he's dealing with a lot at the same time. Knight g3 has to be played now, and he has an interesting idea of exchanging queens possibly after that. And I have to be... Ooh, I didn't notice that at all. I mean, I thought it wasn't even possible. Is it though? Let's see, queen b6. He has this annoying check, which I really, really don't like. King b8. Queen takes e5 check. King h1. Rook a e8. And how does he deal with this? I will go queen b6, even though I'm not entirely sure. I mean, this has to be his move. Else I'm just threatening knight e3 right away. So queen f5 feels pretty much forced. If b4, knight e3, at least I'm picking up the exchange, I would think. And else what? I mean, queen f5 check now. King b8. Queen takes e5, check. It has queen d4. Okay, that's good. I mean, I get my piece back. I don't know if I'm too happy with the result, but against the check then, king b8, queen takes e5. Maybe I start with a move like rook a e8. No, I don't. There's a very nice refutation. No, there is not. I thought he could go knight d7 check because my rook on e8 would be hanging, but the knight is pinned at all times, which is great. So check, king b8, queen takes e5. I can actually go rook a e8. Now we'll check again. Let's see if queen takes e5. I'm not taking right away because queen d4 is trying to change the queens. I can probably play that and I'm all right. But I think queen takes, the most challenging would be to go after the bishop, especially considering that the knight is still pinned. Yeah, could be super annoying. Queen takes rook a e8. Queen d4, for example, is just exposing itself to all kind of nasty discover attacks like knight e3, which I don't know if it works right there, but it might. So rook a e8, I'm gonna play it. Queen d4. Queen d4 is a brave move. I'm not seeing the refutation just yet, if there is one. I know I can at least take here on e2. And if c4... Oh, c4, okay. Didn't see that. Well, c4 is actually not even threatening anything, because if pawn takes, I'll have rook takes. Okay, very complex, tactically speaking. I was thinking now of... maybe I play knight e3. Knight e7 check. And after knight e7 check, I figured maybe rook takes, queen takes. There should be something there. I'm not seeing a direct win, even though I have so many discovered attacks. Knight takes f1, rook takes f1. I'm not sure what's going on there. So close, yet so far. So where else can the knight go? Unfortunately, not f4. I don't want to go back. I mean, knight f6 covers this area and everything, but he goes back all the way to f2. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Maybe queen takes b2, but he takes on b7, and I'm not thrilled with the result. Rook takes c2. There's also knight c4 to consider. That's kind of annoying, though I can go back to g6 and attack the pawn on g2. This is all very complex. For now, I'm just taking. I don't think c4 is particularly a threat, because even if I can't move the knight, if he was to take, I'll take and attack the queen and the knight, so no problem there. Now I have to play queen g6, attacking g2. He will most likely go rook f2, and then it's still a complete mess. Maybe rook takes f2, queen takes f2, and I get to play knight f4 with, well, adding some more threats. Okay, he tries to solve everything at once with queen g4, though that enables some tricks maybe here. I don't know, queen takes, pawn takes, knight takes something. I don't know. He has this very annoying response. Anyway, I have to take here, I guess. And now what? Knight takes c3, knight takes b7. Knight takes b7 is so annoying at all times. Knight b6. Now knight b6, knight takes b7, king takes. If knight takes b6, I go rook d2. Whoa, what's going on there? I really want to play bishop c6, but he's gonna keep harassing the bishop. I don't know how that works. Oh, this is so hard. Knight b6, I guess I'm still down a pawn. It's almost unfair. I would love something like this to work, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. Knight takes c3, knight takes b7. I'll play knight b6. I'll go knight b6. And if knight takes, the king takes on b7. What am I going to do about that? Unfortunately, I have to take. He has the check. Okay, he doesn't do it. I might go rook d2 now. Threatening mate. That's why he can't move the knight. Now I have check, king h1, check, king g1, rook d2, g2, checkmate. So the knight can't move. Now, now what? Rook takes f7 to give himself some luft. He's playing well. Rook takes with check, king f1. I will take that knight, thank you very much. At least I should be fine, I guess. I mean, I'm capturing a lot of his pawns. I'm still down a pawn even at this point. But my rooks are... at least I have my two rooks in full display of activity. He only has one of them. Still has to solve the problem of the rook on a1. Don't know if it's that easy. He takes here, I will probably take on h2. And if king g1, I will check. Yeah, that will happen. King g1, I will check. And when he goes back, I take. So I make him go back. And I'm winning time while I capture his pawns. Now, if I can get more than this, I don't really know. But I'm surely going to try. I mean, king g1... maybe check, king f1, rook g3. So I'm not even threatening rook h1 at that point, but at least I'm targeting some of his pawns. I don't know if I should do this, because I'm giving him the opportunity to activate his extremely inactive rook. At least it's equal in material terms now, I guess. I'm trying to pick up at least the pawn. Well, that one will do. while my rook still defends this. Okay, ooh, now I'm really short on time. How do I make progress here? This is confusing. So he has rook f6. Well, I'm just going to go for the same stuff. I'm threat. Oh my god, I had checkmate in one. I can't believe that. That's insane. I just missed checkmate in one. All right. I was so focused on rook h1 being the checkmate, I completely forgot that I could checkmate here. Oh, that was poor. Okay, let's try to set it up again. I don't think he will fall for it, but okay, that can't be good. I mean, he's getting the rook under attack, and now I have checkmate on both sides. So he's dropping that rook. Oh, oh, that was really bad on my part. Okay, now finally win the rook, and I should be winning this. Missing mate in one while, well, not streaming, but while recording. I promise I won't leave this out. I mean, you deserve to see how short-sighted I can be. Okay, rook a to g2, checkmate. Okay, he didn't wait for it. Okay, let's look for new opponent. Thank you. New 10-minute match. Okay. How are we doing? Okay, 22-69. We won 19 points from the start. Was only 2 games. No, 3 games. 3 games. Okay, let's play at least one more. 22-28 is the... Oh, okay. He just aborted the game right away. New opponent, 22-52 is our opponent. Very close to our rating. Let's play a d4 opening now and see what we get. Okay, he's thinking on move 2. That kind of surprises me that people take time on move 2 or 3 in rapid games. It seems to happen. Now he chooses the King's Indian, I guess. Or the... Okay, yeah, it was the King's Indian. What am I going to play against the King's Indian? I'm thinking of my usual g3. But also... Maybe not. Maybe just play e4. I'm going to play this modern variation with h3, in which the idea is most of the time to play g4 ourselves. So we're not going to allow black's normal plans after they play f5. Knight b7, okay, that's reasonable. I can play bishop e3, and if he goes e5, d5. That's the idea. And then at the appropriate moment, I will go g4. The king tends to stay in the center in those lines. As crazy as it seems, when the center is blockaded like this, your king can sometimes stay there for a while. Without the e-file being opened up, you're mostly fine. So if knight c5, I don't think I will take that. I mean, I kind of cherish this bishop. All my light square pawns, all my pawns are on light squares, I mean. And I certainly don't want to just take, well, just because. I will probably play knight d2 and defend this while I make way for my pieces and just play g4 later on. Now he probably goes knight e8 or knight fd7, and I will play g4. Since g4 makes f5 a little bit more difficult because I may open the g file for my rook after the exchange, black has these other plans like a5, consolidating the knight on c5, and then c6 to hit the pawn on d5, and maybe bring the queen to b6, attacking the queen side. That is fairly common here. So I will continue with my plan, because it's the one I have. I guess c6 is like the most natural move. And I'm thinking if I'm just going to push at that point, my idea is g5, the knight goes back to d7, I'll just keep pushing and try to open lines against that king. Now if he goes knight h5, I might go bishop e2, and I don't know what he's doing with the knight on h5 anymore. Maybe knight f4. Oh wait, no, I can't allow that. If the knight gets into f4, I'm not doing good. And the reason for that is that if I take, I make his bishop a monster. I shouldn't do that. Okay, c6, that's fine. So next move, he's probably gonna go queen b6. For the time being, I kind of have to ignore that. I'm thinking of queen f3, though I don't really know what that does. I mean, maybe rook g1, so I can start pushing anyway, with the pawn being defended. There's also bishop e2 with a rather similar idea, playing h4. It's not the easiest choice. Maybe I will just play bishop e2 and see what happens. Pawn takes, I will take with a pawn, and if queen b6, I'm thinking of just playing rook b1 for the time being. This king, if it's gonna go somewhere, it's gonna be a castle by hand eventually. King d1, king c2, or king f1, king g2. I'm sure I'm not castling by normal means, I think. But for the time being, we just focus on expanding on the king side as much as we can. Well, if c takes d, c takes d, I don't think it maybe it's not a great idea, because I get c4 for the knight. So any queen b6 attempts might be encountering this knight c4. So if he's gonna play queen b6, he will probably do so without the previous exchange. Maybe it's natural here to play bishop d7. Okay, rook e8. I'm a bit surprised by that move. It's basically saying he's not gonna play f5 any longer. Not with the rook already on the e file. I think I'm just gonna push that knight out of there. Now that he doesn't have knight h5, he's not completing this maneuver. Remember, if he gets the knight into f4, that knight has well, it's very awkward for me, because if I take, he takes and the bishop is open, he gets the e5 with pressure against my e4 pawn, and I can't let the knight leave on f4 either. I mean, it's a big outpost. So he goes back, I will just keep pushing. I think it's the best I can do. And now, how do I handle this after he goes, maybe he goes f5 anyway. But I think at this point I may take and just push h5, or just push h5 right away. Maybe I take first. I don't know. It's a tough choice. Just at first sight, I'll say I'll take and just play h5. Now I'll just play h5. I don't know about this. I mean, it's he's clearly trying to build up some sort of fortress, and he's doing fine in that sense. Fortress in the sense that I won't have checkmates on h7 or on h8, because he has the knight protecting h7 and the bishop protecting h8. But at the same time, he's killing these two minor pieces, and that has to be acknowledged. The knight on f8 is very passive. Now, I would like to trade this bishop. This is black's good bishop, and normally in the King's Indian, it's an essential piece for black. Now this changes my plans a little bit, of course, because the attention is going to be shifted towards the king. So he's trying to free his pieces, but at the same time with the king there, I don't know if he can play like this, honestly. Queen takes f6. I do have to be a bit careful, because if I were to take right away, he takes with the knight and he's getting very quickly into f4. I don't know if I want that, probably not. At the same time, I'm a bit annoyed that I can't get my queen into play. And there's also this little problem that I can't really go bishop g4 due to knight d3. So bishop takes, pawn takes, bishop g4 is an idea, I guess. I'm not a fan though. There's always bishop h6, attacking this and getting the bishop free. Maybe I just play queen c2 and I will just castle queenside, even if I say that I wouldn't. Maybe in this case, this is my best shot. I will castle queenside, get the other rook to g1, and I guess I have quite good pressure on the king side. I'm not so happy though about my queen on c2. I would like to get it involved, and it feels like it's gonna take quite a lot of time. But well, still, I have to do this. If he takes on d5, his problem for the time being is that I'm taking with the knight. I don't think he should allow that. So what is my plan? Well, maybe rook dg1. Okay, he did it. Well, that's kind of surprising. I think I can just improve my pieces a lot with it. That knight on d5 is a big problem. Queen f7 is most certainly going to happen. I'm so tempted to take on c5, though I really don't want this bishop to be able to come back into life. The advantage, of course, of taking is that it basically blocks the c5, but for the time being, it really looks unlikely that black will have the time to attack me there. I'm already threatening stuff like bishop g5, just getting a piece into f6 afterwards. So, okay, he's allowing that. Now he's going after the knight, which makes logical sense. I'm planning on bishop g4 though. And if he takes, I will take with the pawn, with the idea of connecting the queen to the attack. Though he can play e4, I think he will lose that pawn. Well, there are certainly some things to calculate there. I'm preferring bishop g5 though, because I don't see good squares for the queen now that I think about it. If the queen goes to d7, I could play knight b6 and win the exchange, which should be good for me, I'm assuming. And what else? The queen has to go to b8 not to drop an exchange. But it's a weird looking move. At the very least, I can play knight f6, bishop takes, and with that bishop on f6 already and threatening stuff like h takes g6, I don't think that's gonna be great for him. Looks very nasty from his perspective. Okay, he allows me to take the exchange. Honestly, I don't even know if I want to take that exchange. I mean, I'm so it really looks so strong to make him part with this bishop and keep mine. Though in all honesty, should be winning. I still don't have the queen involved in the attack, so I don't know if it's fully working just yet. And well, it's an exchange. I mean, I have to go for it, I guess. Queen c6, okay, I take, he will take back, and it's a lot of material. I mean, I can force this exchange of bishops. Not really, he can play this, even though it activates my pieces, I guess. What do I play now though? Bishop e3, or do I take first? Not the easiest. I mean, I really don't want to go back. Maybe bishop e7 is a thing because I'm attacking this. h6 is in crisis. I will play this. I don't know if I should have allowed this. Maybe I was kind of superficial. I just saw h takes with the rook attacking the bishop. He can take on d2, but I take with the queen. And yeah, the attack is just too strong. I don't think he can do that. Even if he was to take here on e4. No, well, I'm threatening takes. No, I guess bishop h6. At the very least, I could play this, but I think I can just take. And sorry, and I'm attacking the bishop. Okay, he doesn't want to exchange, but now g6 is under attack, and I can just win the pawn, and something's gotta happen here. I mean, the threat is just to pile up on the bishop. All right, can I just take? King takes, rook check. Might be sending him to the edge of the board with that. Like king h7 or king h8, and then queen c3, and I can bring the queen. Is that so? Finally, my queen gets into play and I can checkmate? I don't know. Let's see. Rook takes, king takes, rook g1, bishop g6 is the other option to avoid getting kicked to the h file, but I have bishop h5. That's good news. Bishop h5 with a pin against this. He has king f7 attacking my bishop. I didn't see that. Okay, that move is super annoying. Rook takes, king takes, check. Bishop g6. I mean, I highly doubt that he can save himself by doing that. It looks very unlikely. And I think I might have queen c3 first. Bishop h5 looked good, but there is king f7. That's kind of unbelievable, but it's there, I guess. Now, I don't know how necessary all of this is. And sometimes you just gotta check what the other candidate moves are, and I think rook takes this. It should be pretty simple, honestly. Yeah, I'm gonna take this pawn. It's kind of ridiculous to go for a line like that, which I'm pretty sure should win, but I mean, why? Why go for that if I can just do this, bring the other rook to a g-file, and I'm pretty sure he should be in grave danger there. Though, well, if he moves the knight ever, I will have some bishop f6 ideas. So rook g1, I guess. There are some x-rays, there are some things to be concerned about I didn't think of really. Knight f8 is one of them. Turns out maybe what I played is even more dangerous. Well, dangerous is it's just a way of putting it, because really I don't think I'm in any danger. I can play bishop f6 and should be powerful enough. That I didn't see, which is a pretty trivial move to miss. Okay, yeah, I went wrong. I mean, I tried to make it easy, and I ended up complicating matters. I mean, these two pieces are in a tangle there. So yeah, bishop f6. I'm gonna be returning the exchange apparently. I don't think he's super happy with this or anything, but all of this felt a little bit unnecessary. Well, he's not returning the exchange. I mean, he's really eager to keep his bishops, but the bishops are pinned, I guess. I'm getting the most of it. Rook f5, now threatening bishop h5. Now we should be on our way again. Knight e6 is the only annoying try because of this. Okay, he didn't play it. I'm gonna go bishop h5. There is bishop h6. I'm going to emerge up and exchange after all of this mess, I think. Like bishop h6 takes. Maybe even more than that. Takes, bishop takes, king takes, and he has a knight, and I have a rook, and I guess that should be fine. Let's go for it. Takes, keep taking, and yeah, up the exchange. That was good, and 2 pounds, yeah. So that threatens nothing, but it's still okay. Well, had a pretty good session. I mean, we went all the way to 2277. I guess next time we're gonna just shoot for 2300 right away. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching the videos, and if you like the content, just subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.